What if I told you that a man walked this earth for 2.5 centuries? Imagine a single human life spanning the American Revolution, the rise and fall of Napoleon, the entire Victorian era, and the dawn of the Roaring Twenties. It sounds like a story plucked from the pages of mythology, a tale whispered around a campfire under a blanket of stars. Yet this is not a myth. It is a claim attached to a real name, a real face, and a life that continues to baffle historians and scientists alike. The story challenges our very understanding of what it means to be human, forcing us to ask a question that echoes through time. Can we truly break the limits of our own biology? This journey takes us deep into the heart of a mystery that blurs the line between fact and legend. It is a story so profound, so utterly unbelievable that most have dismissed it without a second thought. But what if there is a kernel of truth buried beneath the layers of skepticism? What if the evidence, however strange, points to something extraordinary? We are often told that our time here is finite, a brief flicker in the grand cosmic ballet. The tale of one man suggests that perhaps, just perhaps, the rules we live by are not as rigid as they appear. It invites us to wonder, to question, and to look beyond the accepted narrative of our existence. Li Ching-Yuen first appears in the historical record not as an infant but as a man already ancient. The story begins in Sichuan, a province in China known for its misty mountains and deep valleys. This is where Li was said to have been born, but the year of his birth is where the mystery truly begins. According to documents that surfaced in the 20th century, Li himself claimed to have been born in 1736. This would make him 197 years old at the time of his death in 1933. An incredible age, far beyond any verified human lifespan. But this was not the most shocking claim. Another even more astonishing date would later emerge from the annals of Chinese history. The legend of Li Ching-Yuen is not merely a folk tale passed down through generations. It is a story that, at one point, was treated with a surprising degree of seriousness. He was a man known throughout his region, a local celebrity of sorts, famous not for wealth or power but for his sheer endurance against the tides of time. He was said to have outlived 23 wives, to have fathered a legion of descendants, some of whom were old men themselves while Li was still alive. He watched as the Qing dynasty rose to its zenith and crumbled into dust. His very presence was a paradox. The details of Li Ching-Yuen's daily existence are as fascinating as his claimed age. He was not a man who lived in seclusion, hidden away in a remote monastery. He was an active member of his community, known for his vitality and his calm demeanor. Those who met him described a man who stood tall and straight, with good eyesight, with a brisk stride. He was reportedly over 6 feet tall with long fingernails and a ruddy complexion. His diet was remarkably simple. He subsisted primarily on rice and wine. His true secret, he claimed, was in the herbs he consumed. Goji berries, wild ginseng, Heishou Wu, Mr. He's black hair. These herbs were a core part of his being. He believed the body could be continuously renewed with nature's tools. He saw the body not as a machine, but as a garden to be cultivated. Beyond his habits, Li practiced qigong, diet, herbal knowledge, and spiritual practice formed his holistic system. When asked for the ultimate secret to his long life, he did not offer a complex formula or a magical elixir. Instead, he gave a piece of advice that was as simple as it was profound. His wisdom was captured in a short, cryptic phrase that has echoed through the decades since his death. He advised others to keep a quiet heart, sit like a tortoise, walk sprightly like a pigeon, and sleep like a dog. This simple mantra was the cornerstone of his philosophy, a guide to navigating the currents of life with grace and endurance. To keep a quiet heart was his first and most important principle. This speaks to the power of inner calm and emotional stability. In a world filled with stress, anxiety, and turmoil, Li believed that a tranquil mind was the foundation of a healthy body. By maintaining a state of profound peace, he shielded himself from the ravages of negative emotions. He understood that the mind and body are not separate entities, they are deeply intertwined. A peaceful spirit, he taught, leads to a resilient physical form. It was a simple formula, but perhaps its simplicity is what made it so powerful. The story of Li Ching-Yuen might have remained a local legend, confined to the hills of Sichuan, if not for a powerful figure who took a keen interest in him. In 1927, a warlord named General Yang Sen invited the ancient man to his residence. The general was fascinated by the stories of Li's extreme age and vitality. He wanted to see this living legend with his own eyes and, learn his secrets. The encounter was recorded and a photograph was taken. one of the only known images of Li Ching-Yuen. During his time with General Yang Sen, Li was treated as an honored guest. He ordered his subordinates to research Li's background, to find any official records that might verify his incredible age. It was this investigation that would later provide the most compelling and, honestly, the most controversial piece of evidence in the entire saga. The findings were so startling that they would eventually capture the attention of the entire world. So, the story of Li Ching-Yuen really exploded onto the international stage back in the late 1920s and early 1930s. Western newspapers were hungry for sensational stories and quickly picked up reports coming out of China. In 1928, the New York Times ran an article detailing this man who seemed to have cheated death. The piece cited correspondence from a professor at Chengdu University who uncovered government records from the imperial court. These weren't ordinary records. They were official documents supporting Li's age. This is where it gets shocking. The documents found by Professor Wu Chengqie dated to 1827. They were official congratulations from the imperial government for Li's 150th birthday. If authentic, Li would have been born in 1677, not 1736, as he sometimes claimed. That implies he was 256 years old when he died in 1933. The New York Times ran his obituary titled, "Li Ching-Yuen Dead, gave his age as 197. In the decades since his death, the story of Li Ching-Yuen has really become a battleground between believers and skeptics. The central question is always, can we actually trust the evidence? Those documents from the Imperial Chinese government are, honestly, the most tantalizing piece of proof. But verifying their authenticity after so many years is just incredibly difficult, especially with all the turmoil that swept through 20th century China. Modern science, of course, just dismisses the claim outright. The current verified record for the oldest human is held by Jean Calment of France, who lived to be 122. A lifespan of 256 years is considered, well, a biological impossibility. Our cells can only divide a certain number of times, a phenomenon known as the Hayflick limit. Our DNA just accumulates damage over time. And yet, science is always evolving. Could there be unknown factors, maybe something about his herbal diet? The case of Li Ching-Yuen remains an unsolved historical enigma, a puzzle with no clear solution. Ultimately, the story of Li Ching-Yuen really asks us to make a choice. We can choose the path of pure skepticism, dismissing the tale as a fabrication, a mix of folklore, misinterpretation, exaggeration. This is the safe, logical path that lines up with our current scientific understanding. Or we can choose to wonder, entertain the idea that something extraordinary happened. What if his unique combination of herbs, meditation, a peaceful heart, had a profound effect on his body? What if the connection between mind and matter is stronger than we understand? Are we living with a quiet heart? Sit like a tortoise, find stillness in a chaotic world, walk like a pigeon, balance activity, sleep like a dog, get proper rest. The legend stands as a powerful metaphor for living in harmony with nature and with ourselves. So what do you believe? The mystery itself is a gift. It pushes us to think beyond the ordinary, to question, and to wonder. If you enjoyed this journey into the heart of an ancient mystery, be sure to follow our channel for more explorations into the unexplained. The truth is out there, waiting for those who are brave enough to look for it.